Hello, hello. Welcome to Empower Hour. Nice to have you. So in this session, we're going to look at supercharging your confidence. And this is something that is very close to my heart, actually, because I spent a lot of my early years, my informative years, very not confident, full of self-doubt, terrified of looking stupid, putting a foot wrong. So this is very close to my heart, and I'm really glad we're talking about this today. So just in the chat box, let me know your name, where you're from, what's your name, where'd you come from, and we'll dive into it. So the first thing I'd like you to think about is, when do you need confidence? So perhaps another way of thinking about this is, when do you feel self-doubt? Which to me is the opposite of confidence. It might be different for you, but I'm just going to use the word self-doubt. I like to have a think about that. Why do we feel self-doubt? Why do we feel a lack of confidence? What feeds that? Where does it come from? Who does it come from? How did you know to feel doubtful about yourself? How did you know that you couldn't feel confident in this moment? And really have a think about that, because the more we can become super conscious of why we feel self-doubt, when we feel self-doubt, where it comes from, then the more we can step in when it comes up and choose to do something about it. So in this instance, we're going to be using tapping to move through the self-doubt so you can feel more confident doing stuff. And the reason this is so important is, I don't know if you've heard, thoughts lead to feelings, lead to actions, lead to results. And if you are thinking thoughts such as, I don't think I'm good enough, then that's going to lead to certain feelings, certain emotions that you feel. Now, off those emotions, you're going to take certain actions, and they're going to give you a certain set of results. If, however, you're thinking thoughts on the lines of, yeah, I can do this, I've got this, I believe in myself, I trust myself, then you're going to feel different emotions, which are going to lead to different actions, which is going to give you different results. So it's super key to discover where it is where perhaps you don't have the result that you want, and get really tuned in on why that is. What are you thinking about? What are your feelings that are driving the actions that you're taking? Now, the next question I'm going to ask you is, where do your thoughts come from? If thoughts lead to feelings, lead to actions, lead to results, where do your thoughts come from? I'll give you a moment. And they come from beliefs. Your thoughts come from the beliefs you have, the story you're telling yourself. And where do your beliefs come from? Well, most of the time, beliefs aren't actually ours. We inherit a lot of our beliefs. They are pre-programmed into us, if you like, by parents, family, society, school. And we use those beliefs to create the reality that we're currently in. And it's not a case of see it and believe it. It's a case of believe it and see it. So if you have beliefs that fuel your self-doubt or lack of confidence thoughts, then I'm going to encourage you to get really curious as to where those beliefs come from, what they are, so that you can change them. Because here's the thing about beliefs. Beliefs are super powerful, but, and it's a big but, they are just beliefs. They're not truths. And because they're not truths, we can change them. So have a little think about when you feel self-doubt. When are the times where you could do with a little bit more confidence? And if you didn't feel that self-doubt, or if you had more confidence, what could you accomplish? What could you do? What is that self-doubt or lack of confidence holding you back from? And that's going to be really key when we come into the tapping, when you do the tapping for yourself. Because by understanding what it is you want to achieve, and then allowing yourself to feel the self-doubt around that, you can then do some tapping to release that self-doubt and the beliefs that are around it. So the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is have a think about what it is that you want to do or achieve that so far self-doubt or a lack of confidence has stopped you. You've just not quite been able to take that step. The fear inside your body has just been a little bit too intense. And maybe you've tried to do it, but then you've withdrawn at the last minute. So have a think about that. And it could be starting a business. It could be getting back into the dating game. It could be a myriad of things, but have a think about what it is for you. When do you feel the most self-doubt? And what is that around? What is that stopping you doing? And what I'm going to ask you to do is just to close your eyes if you haven't already, and just take a breath. And let it go. And then keeping your eyes closed, just take a moment to really feel the connection to whatever it is you're sitting on or against. Just become aware of where it connects with your body. Noticing how it just seems to rise up to support you. And as you allow yourself to sink into that support just a little bit more now, I'd like you to imagine that in your mind's eye, you can see a movie screen. And on that movie screen, there is playing a movie of you. And in that movie of you, you are taking the action that so far you've avoided taking because you haven't felt confident enough. So just imagine what it would be like if in your mind's eye you could see that movie screen and you could see that movie screen playing a movie of you taking that action, doing that thing. And as you watch that, I'd like you to get really conscious of how your body is feeling. Just become aware of any tightening or tension or knotting or maybe something else. Notice where in your body that is. Get curious as to where this lives in your body. And as you tune into that physical feeling, just give yourself a moment to hear whatever it is your little inner voice is saying about this. And if your inner voice is being surprisingly positive and it's got your back, I'd like you to dig a little bit deeper underneath that initial inner voice, because there's a second voice, one that's less supportive. And just allow yourself to hear that, just for this moment. And then just say to yourself, either in your head or out loud, whichever feels better for you, I can do that. I can do that. And notice how your body reacts to that statement. I can do that. And then I'd like to add this next line onto it. But I won't because, and then fill in that blank. I can do that, but I won't because. And tell me why you won't do it. I don't think I can. I don't think I'm good enough. I don't know how to. What is it? And just notice how true that feels to you. And give it a number, 1 to 10, where 10 is, it's super true. I can do that, but I won't because. And take a nice deep breath in and hold it. And let it go. And then when you're ready, opening your eyes, I'm just going to start on the side of the hand. I'm just going to do some tapping for this. So you're going to tap where I tap. You're going to repeat what I say. Now, if you've not done tapping before, don't worry. Just literally copy what I'm doing. You want to be tapping hard enough so you can feel it, but not so hard you're going to end up covered in loads of little bruises. So repeating after me. Even though. I could do that. But I won't because. And then tell me why you won't do it. Tell me your because. And I choose to accept myself anyway. Even though. I could do that. But I won't because. And then tell me again what your because is. Because I'm not good enough. Because I don't know how. Tell me what it is. Tell me out loud. And that makes me feel. And then tell me how that makes you feel. Sad, frustrated, stressed, anxious. Or maybe something else. And I choose to accept myself anyway. And then one more time here. Even though I could do that. But so far I haven't. Because. And tell me again why you haven't done it. And that makes me feel. And tell me again how that makes you feel. And I feel that right there in my body. And then tell me out loud where in your body you feel it. So my left elbow, my stomach, my head, maybe somewhere else. And I choose to accept myself anyway. Okay, now we're going to the eyebrow point. I could do that. But I won't. Because, and tell me again why you won't do it, or why you can't do it. And that makes me feel, and tell me again how it makes you feel. And I feel that feeling right there in my body. And then tell me where in your body you feel it and what it feels like. I have butterflies in my stomach. I have knotting in my solar plexus. My head is aching, or maybe something else. So I could do it, but I won't. Even though it makes me feel like that. The thought of actually doing that action . makes me feel? And then tell me how you feel when you think about taking the action. Scared, nervous, anxious, maybe something else. And that's why I'm not going to do it. I am doubting myself. I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can do it well enough. It's going to be scary. What if I fail? What if I look like an idiot? I don't know how to do it. And the thought of learning just feels exhausting. I don't even know where to start. It's impossible, impossible, impossible. Part of me really wants to do it. But I just don't feel confident enough. And I can't do it until I feel confident enough. Maybe. I can't do it till I feel confident enough. I have to wait. I have to wait till I know exactly what I'm doing. I have to wait until I have all the answers. Then I will feel confident enough. Maybe. I'm curious to know why I think I can't just do it. So I'm telling myself all sorts of stories about it. And these stories are absolutely relevant. They may even feel really true. And it's stopping me, which is curious. What's stopping me from feeling confident? Why do I have to wait till I feel confident? What if I just took the action right now? Holy moly, are you kidding me, Claire? I can't possibly do it right now. I'm not confident enough. Because maybe I've never done it before. And I'm really scared about messing it up. Maybe there are times in my past where I've tried something new and it went horribly wrong. And I felt stupid and small. it was really embarrassing. Why on earth would I put myself through that again? So of course I'm not confident. I'm comparing this time with stuff that's happened in the past. And honestly, it's making me feel really anxious. So I'm going to come up with all sorts of reasons, super valid reasons, why I can't just do it. Why I can't feel confident. I wish I could be confident, but I'm not even sure what confidence feels like. And here's the danger with confidence. It's just a small trip into arrogance. And I do not want to come across as arrogant. So I'd rather fill myself full of self-doubt than run the risk of looking arrogant. Because coming across as arrogant, maybe even just coming across as confident, is breaking a really big rule. A really big rule that maybe came from my family. A really big rule that maybe came from my culture. And maybe that rule is something like, it's wrong to boast. It's wrong to be arrogant. It's wrong to be cocky. And people who are those things are not to be trusted or liked. They're show-offs. And it's wrong to show off. And I learned that. And when I see confident people, how do I make the judgment call between confident and arrogant? And if I see someone being confident or arrogant, how do I feel about that? What do I say to myself about that person? Because that's what I'm afraid others will think of me. I'm afraid they'll feel like that about me if I'm confident. I'm afraid they'll think that about me if I'm confident. So of course I'm not going to allow myself to be confident. Maybe. But what if I really admire confidence in other people? Well, if I'm admiring it, I'm recognizing it for what it is. And if I recognize it, I must know it myself. Which means that I have it. But for whatever reason, it hasn't felt safe to embody it. And I choose to acknowledge and forgive myself for that. I choose to acknowledge and honor everything that I'm feeling. All those reasons why I could do it but won't. Because I thought that's how I had to be. But what if it's safe to feel more confident? What if I'm allowed to feel more confident? Even if I don't know how to feel confident. Maybe I could imagine what it feels like. And I can do it. No, I can't. Yes, I can. No, I can't. Yes, I can. And I'm open to. And take a breath. And then just check in with that statement that we did earlier. I could do it, or I can do it, but I won't because. And have a look at the number you gave that originally as to how true that felt, the reason why you couldn't because. And what's happened to that number? Now, what we're looking for is for the number to come down so it feels less true that you could do it, but you won't because of X, Y, Z. Want the number to be lower. However, obviously, one of three things can happen to your number. It can come down, fantastic, we're in the right direction. It could stay the same, or it could be higher now than when you started. Now, those last two don't mean that you're doing anything wrong. This is a time to get really curious. And when your number stays the same, there's a few reasons for that. Tapping works the best the more specific you can be. Now, obviously, I'm at the end of a camera on YouTube. I can't see you. I don't know what's going on specifically in your life or specifically what you're struggling with. But you do. So the words that I'm saying, maybe they're not specific enough for your actual circumstances. So what you can do in that instance is you can do one of two things. You can either tap for yourself and talk to yourself as if you were talking to a friend about why you could do it, but you won't because, and how that makes you feel. Or you can rewind this recording, go through that tapping again, but hold in your head the reasons why. Hold in your head those images or those stories that you're telling yourself as you do the tapping, and that's going to work on those. Now, another reason why your number may not shift is because your subconscious has spotted a perceived downside to feeling confident. And this is the root of most procrastination, is that some part of you is perceiving a downside to taking the action. So a potential downside to feeling confident may be that people will think you're showing off. It may be that people might think you're arrogant. It may be that you're afraid you're going to turn into an asshole. It may be that if you allow yourself to feel confident, you're going to have to take that action that is actually really fucking scary. So why on earth would you allow yourself to feel confident if the moment you feel confident, you have to take that action? So we touched on this a little bit during that tapping, but what you can do here is just do the tapping as you talk to yourself about the downsides to being more confident. I'm going to have to take the action. Okay, in fact, let's do a quick round of that now, just in case. So just coming straight up to your eyebrow for this one. Claire, I would do it. I would feel more confident. But if I allow that to happen, there are all these downsides. I'm going to have to take the action. And the thought of doing that scares the bejeebers out of me. It's much safer to stay in self-doubt. I would feel more confident. But I've got this fear that if I allow myself to feel confident, I'm going to instantly transform into the biggest asshole in the world. I will transform into a right arrogant prick. And I don't want that to happen. So even though I know that could never happen logically, because that's just not me, there is still this little fear about it. This feeling that I need to protect myself from being confident. Just in case I turn into an asshole. So I would feel confident, but there are all these potential downsides. And I choose to honor how I feel about this. Because it doesn't make me bad or stupid. I have some real concerns. And I choose to acknowledge them. I choose to accept myself for having them. But are they really true? Is it really 100% without a shadow of a doubt true? That the minute I allow a little bit of confidence, I turn into an arrogant asshole. Can I be absolutely certain that that would happen? Because if I can't, then that's curious. How do I feel when I buy into it being true? And then just tell me how you feel buying into that being true. And how would I feel if I didn't buy into it being true? And tell me how you'd feel if you didn't buy into it being true. I choose to acknowledge myself. And I'm open to the possibility that I don't have to worry about this. open to the possibility that it's safe to feel confident. I'll take a breath. Now, the thing with confidence is that people tend to assume that people are just born confident. Whereas actually, all skills are learnable. Now, nature, nurture, there's arguments for both, but the environment you're in and the encouragement you receive is going to boost or hinder your self-confidence. But what we're talking about today is not about blaming other people for your lack of self-confidence. It's about acknowledging that the people around you, i.e. your parents, did the best they could. They did the best they could. Even if you don't think that's very good, it was the best they could do with their beliefs and their programming in that moment. You can't take responsibility for them. All you can do is take responsibility for yourself and how you now respond to what's happening. Because it's now your choice. You can absolutely choose to stick with self-doubt. You can absolutely choose that. There's no law against choosing that. I'm not going to come and bang down your door and demand that you get confident. You can choose to feel self-doubt. That's allowed. You can also choose to feel more confident. And the way you feel more confident is not to sit around waiting for confidence to land on your head, because that's not normally the way it works. You get confident when you do something repeatedly, when you learn how to do something. So I'd like to think about the first job you had. I was like, oh, I'm going to stretch back my mind now. Many years ago. Think about the first job you had. And I'm willing to bet you went into that job not knowing what to do. And you probably felt really unconfident, if that's a word. You probably felt really anxious, doubtful. But then you learn how to do that job. And the more you did it, the more confident you felt doing it. But we tend to forget that. Our subconscious has no concept of time, and it forgets. And it makes our new normal normal. So your original normal was not knowing how to do that job, but then you learn. And so you take that, and that new normal becomes normal. You forget that, back here, you didn't know how to do it. Now you do know how to do it. It's impossible for you to not know how to do it. But you forget to give yourself kudos for having done the learning, for having built the confidence, because it's just normal. It's just normal. Same with driving. I get in the car. It's normal to me. I can do things on automatic, even though I probably shouldn't. But how many times have you driven somewhere and then you think, God, I don't remember any of that? It's just automatic. You know how to do it. Now, if I took my knowing how to drive and lifted it out of my head and plopped it into the head of 15-year-old me who doesn't know how to drive, but if I plop that knowledge in their head, they know how to drive. If that 15-year-old me then got in a car, she would know what to do. It would be automatic. She couldn't not know how to do it. So she'd be confident doing it. So the key to confidence is to do it. The more you do something, the more confident you get. I work with a lot of coaches and EFT practitioners and therapists. And when they first start their journey of coaching clients, they're nervous. They're full of self-doubt. I was, because it's new. But the more you do, the more you know, and the more confident you get. Now, what I'm going to invite you to do, I'm going to do A lovely little drawing. I'm going to do it down here because it's all a bit floppy. I would like you to draw a circle in the middle of a piece of paper. It might have to be a bit bigger than that. I'm going to leave this with you. But inside that circle, you're going to write the stuff that you're comfortable doing. So, comfortable doing. I hope that's probably backwards for you, isn't it? That says comfortable. This is your comfort zone. I'm willing to bet that the thing you want to do or achieve or have requires actions that are not in here. They are in the second circle. This is your not very comfortable circle. So these are all the actions that, in fact, if we have your goal, whatever that might be, these are all the actions that you know you probably need to take to reach this, but you're not very comfortable doing them. They're a little bit outside your comfort zone. And then beyond that, there is a second circle. And this other circle is your holy fuck circle. This is all the stuff that you know you should be taking to get from here to your goal. But good Lord, it's scary. You'd really rather not. And it's having to make your way from here to here. You have to pass through these circles to get the thing you want. And this is where self-doubt and lack of confidence can really stop you in your tracks. So the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is do this at home. Do this in your own time. Do this at home. Have a think about the actions to get you from here to here that you're not massively confident about. You could probably do them, but you're not massively confident. There's a bit of anxiety going on there. Then have a think about this outer circle, your holy fuck circle, and pop in there the actions that you know you probably have to do if you want to achieve this. But they're super, super scary. Your arse is grabbing your chair just thinking about it. It's a technical term. And this is how you can preempt and diffuse the anxiety to allow yourself to take these action steps. Because here's the thing. I'm going to ask you to pick one thing from this circle. One thing that you write down. And you're going to do it. And you're going to do it as often as possible. So it gets to the point where this is the thing you decide to do. You keep doing it. And because you keep doing it, your comfort zone expands. So now you have a new comfort zone. It's bigger. This thing that once wasn't very comfortable, you know, you're totally comfortable doing it. You're totally confident doing it. So your comfort zone gets bigger. And you're going to keep doing that. You're going to keep growing and growing your comfort zone until it naturally pushes into the next circle. Because the bigger this gets, this will change from holy fuck to I'm not that comfortable, because this is growing. And the way you preempt this is when you pick the one thing. So a big thing for my clients tends to be doing lives. because you've got a whole load of potential to completely fuck it up and look like an idiot. So maybe you pick that. Maybe that's something that you know is going to grow you and advance you towards your goal. So you pick that one thing and then you commit to doing a live a day for the next so many weeks. Let's say 2 weeks. Or if I'm going to be really mean, I'd say a month. A live a day. Now, it might not be a live for you, but just go with me on this. Just have a think about whatever it would be for you. When you think about doing that, the likelihood is your inner voice is going to throw up all sorts of reasons why you couldn't or shouldn't do that. What am I going to talk about? I can't talk for that long. People don't want to listen to me. I don't have time. You know the score. You know the sort of stuff your inner voice says. So this is how you then preempt that with tapping. So you're going to start on your eyebrow. I'm going to take out the karate chop for now. Let's keep it super, super simple. And all you're going to do is you're going to tap through the points that we've been tapping on earlier. And you're going to say out loud whatever it is your little inner voice is currently saying in the privacy of your own head. I can't do it. I don't want to do it. That is really scary. What if I get it wrong? What if I look like an idiot? Really get down and dirty with the negatives. Echo what your inner voice is saying, because here's the thing. We spend a lot of time trying to ignore our inner voice, trying to push it down, trying to not listen to it. Have you ever been speaking to someone who very clearly wasn't listening to you? And how did that make you feel? Because I know it irritates me, and I tend to get a bit more insistent, a bit louder, if that's possible. A bit more, listen to me, listen to me. So when you don't acknowledge your inner voice, you're effectively not listening to it. And your inner voice is going, for goodness sake, listen to me. It's going to get louder and more insistent. So by tapping and repeating what your inner voice is saying out loud, you can even say, inner voice, I hear you. And you're right. This is scary. I don't want to do it. Your inner voice is going to go, oh, she's listening. Or he's listening. We're not sexist here. They're listening. And you're just going to keep repeating what it's saying. You can even, and I encourage you to do what I call ridiculous tapping, where you get even more outrageous and ridiculous with the reasons why you can't do it. I can't do it because I've got shoulder length hair. I can't do it because the sky is blue. I can't do it because grass is green. Whatever it might be, just really ridiculous. So ridiculous that you're going to hear your inner voice suddenly go, oh, that's a bit silly. Oh, that's a bit silly. I could probably do it. Maybe I could do it. And as soon as you hear your inner voice make that switch, you echo it. Ooh, I could do that. Maybe I could do that. Maybe, I mean, that's a bit silly that I can't do it because the grass is green. Maybe I can do it. Keep listening to your inner voice. If you echo it saying, maybe I can do it, and it suddenly switches again to, oh, no, I can't, follow it. Oh, no, I can't. It's a dance. You are dancing with your inner voice. You're going to and fro with your inner voice, echoing what it says. Because it will move from the negative to the positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, to the positive. But play with it. Play with it. Acknowledge it. Acknowledge how you feel. You're allowed to be scared about doing this. Of course you are. You're allowed to have all these reasons why you don't think you can. Of course you are. You're also allowed to ignore all that and do it. And how would it feel once you're really good at them? What's your comment? I mean, I can remember my first lives. Oh my Lord. Yeah. They haven't actually got that much better. But I care less. I care less about what people think. And I'm quite happy standing up and talking about it. But have a play with it. Have a play with toing and froing with your inner voice. And if you do this ahead of time and get curious as to what the beliefs might be behind all this. If you're scared of doing a live, why? I mean, it's one of the biggest fears. Public speaking is ahead of death. It's higher than death on the things I'm most afraid of. People are more afraid of giving the eulogy at a funeral than being in the coffin. That's bonkers. But it really scares us. Why does it really scare us? Because in the past, way back when our little reptilian brain was developing, it wasn't safe to stand out and do something different. It's that whole tall poppy syndrome. Particularly people who do kind of energy work. There's like an inbuilt ancestral thing, technical term again, where in the past, if we stood out, we were persecuted. It wasn't safe to stand out. No wonder we're so fucking scared of public speaking. No wonder we're so scared of doing lives. No wonder we're so scared of being visible and advertising ourselves and getting ourselves out there. There are some really valid reasons for that. But it's just that right here, right now, it doesn't make any sense because they're back there. They're not here and now. But we still have that fear. What will people think about us? What will people think about us? So let's do a little bit of tapping for that. Coming straight up to your eyebrow. One of the main reasons why I can't feel confident might be that I'm afraid of being visible. Because if I'm confident, I will take the action that makes me stand out. That makes me seen. And there's something really unsafe about that. There is something really unsafe. Either something has already happened to me in the past, where I learnt firsthand it wasn't safe, or this is an ancestral memory. And it's been built into my body that it's not safe to stand out. No wonder I've been suppressing my confidence. No wonder I haven't allowed myself the opportunity to be confident. It just feels really unsafe. Even though logically I know I'm fine. To part of me, it still feels really unsafe. And I choose to honor and acknowledge myself. I choose to honor and acknowledge the part of me that feels unsafe. And maybe up until now, I've had a habit of beating that part up. I should just do it. I should feel more confident. I should take the action. I shouldn't be so silly. I shouldn't be so anxious. But the reality is that I am. And that's okay. I'm allowed to feel like this. I give myself permission to feel like this. And I'm open to being able to take that action. I'm open to feeling my confidence rise. I'm open to feeling that energy. I'm open to even getting excited about it. I'm open to learning confidence. I'm open to practicing confidence. I'm open to being confident. I am confident. And maybe that feels quite exciting. Take a breath. Just notice how you're feeling. Leave a comment about how you're feeling. Leave a comment about how I just swallow something the wrong way. But I swallowed it the wrong way confidently. So your homework is to not swallow stuff the wrong way. It's to think about your circles. Think about what it is you want to achieve. And this is the stuff I'm already doing that gets me towards that I'm really comfortable doing. Next circle, all the stuff I'm not very comfortable, but I know I'm probably going to have to do it to get to here. Next circle, all the stuff I would rather pull my eyes to my head than do because it's super scary. Maybe not that exaggerated, but you know what I mean. Then you're going to pick one thing from this circle, this not very comfortable circle, and you're going to do it. You're going to do it daily if possible for a number of weeks. I tend to recommend a month. During that time, if you're starting to feel, actually, yeah, I've got this, pick something else. And each time you start to feel that this new thing is now part of your existing comfort zone, amend that comfort zone line to encompass the new thing so you can track your progress. You can see visually, you can see your comfort zone growing, which in turn will help you to feel more confident. And in order to be able to do this thing that you have selected, you're going to do some tapping on it. You're going to do some tapping as to why you can't or don't want to do it. You're going to accept that that's how you feel. It's okay. You're going to listen to your inner voice. You're going to repeat what it says. If it starts to get positive, you're going to dance with it. If it starts to get negative, you're going to go back. You're going to dance to and fro. People get very worried about being too negative when tapping. But what we're not tapping negativity in. What you're doing is you're bringing it up so you can let it go. So don't worry about, oh my God, I'm getting so negative. I'm tapping negativity in. You're not. You're actually acknowledging it so you can release it. So have a play with that and let me know how you get on. If you want a little bit more help in terms of tapping, what it's all about, there should be somewhere in the comments or the blurb about this, there should be a link to get your free beginner's guide to tapping. So you can sign up for that and get that. It gives you more information, gives you the points, gives you some scripts, gives you a bit of history about EFT and tapping and what it's all about. So I hope that was useful. Let me know. Drop me a comment. If you need to get hold of me for whatever reason, it's info@claire-turner.com. Otherwise, have a wonderful rest of your day and I'll see you soon. Toodles.